Sun beginning to set in Kentucky. Beautiful night for racing. Let's take a look at our track description for this mile-and-a-half super speedway.
As Hermie mentioned, very, very nice transitions. You see the bank 14 degrees in the corners. The front straightaway tri-oval is banked at 8 degrees, and the backstretch almost flat at 4 degrees. The front stretch just a little bit longer because of the tri-oval than the backstretch.
We look at our race analysis. 36 trucks will start this race again.
Purse almost $750,000. Great purse here. 150 lap race, 225 miles in the pit window, somewhere between 60 and 70 laps.
This is the second highest purse that the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series races for.
Yeah, very, very good purse. Always a good purse here at Kentucky.
We see that number 20 of Marcus Ambrose rolling out onto the track first. We take a look at our starting grid. It's Marcus Ambrose on the inside, David Rudiman on the outside. Very strong truck for David Rudiman in practice today.
Row number 2, Kerry Earnhardt with a terrific qualifying run. He's inside row number 2. And Michel Jourdain, in only his 3rd truck start, qualifies in the 2nd row. Let's see if we can go up front and talk to Marcus Ambrose. Let's see if we can establish radio contact. Hey, Marcus Ambrose, Phil Parsons, can you hear me? Marcus Ambrose, Phil Parsons, can you hear me?
He may be focused on what's in front of him.
Probably should be focused on what's in front of him. He doesn't need to talk to us right now.
This being his first ever pole in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and his first ever pole on this soil as far as the United States. I mean, he is really accomplishing a lot of things in this series.
And he's in charge right now. He's the man that will start this race. The flagman is going to go on his moves, so there's a lot of pressure on him, and he wants to concentrate and not miss any gears, not spin the tires, and he really needs to concentrate and get a clean start here.
In all his interviews, he comes across as a cool customer. In his accent, you're certainly not going to be able to tell when he's excited, but I bet his heart's racing 200 miles an hour right this minute. A great qualifying run for them and a great honor.
Well, it is all in the hands of Marcus Ambrose now as our pole sitter makes his way out of turn 4 into the tri-oval. The green flag about to come out. There it is, and we're underway in Kentucky.
A great jump by Marcus. He opens up a couple truck length lead right now. Kerry Earnhardt, the 13 truck, side by side for second with David Rudiman.
David Rudiman in the number 17 Toyota Tundra holding on to second. Kerry Earnhardt third as they go down the backstretch. Those 3 trucks spreading themselves out. Michel Jourdain in the 50 in 4th. And David Reagan rounds out our top 5 as they come out of turn 4 for lap number 1. 3 wide behind him, though.
You know, Rick, this is the 2nd week in a row that Marcus Ambrose led the first lap in a Craftsman Truck Series race.
And this couldn't be, it couldn't be a better scenario for Marcus Ambrose. At the start of the race, you got all these butterflies thinking about what's going to happen. But once the green flag drops, you forget about all that. Just go racing. He's up front.
Oh, problems in turn number 2. We've got an accident, a couple trucks spinning around. The 07 gets turned around, and that's Wayne Edwards.
Looks like Justin Allgaier got a piece of that also with his 63 Mittlers Brothers truck.
We're about to go back to racing. Again, Marcus Ambrose in front of David Rudiman, Michel Jourdain, David Reagan, and Kerry Earnhardt are your top 5.
Looks like David Rudiman a little bit more on his toes on this restart, keeping up a little bit better on the start as he head into turn 1. But still, those 2 guys are breaking away from the 3rd place truck of Michel Jourdain.
Still have 3 rookies right now up in the top 5, 4 in the top 6. David Reagan really can almost call a rookie, as we talked about earlier. Just ran a handful over 7 races a couple years ago to take away his eligibility for Rookie of the Year.
These restarts, I think, are very beneficial for some drivers as opposed to others. Some people have difficulties with restarts. A guy that has really done well in restarts has been Brendan Gaughan. Brendan Gaughan started this race in 20th after we've completed 6 laps of racing. Brendan Gaughan all the way up to 12th.
Hey, we caught a glimpse of him just before that accident between Wayne Edwards and Justin Allgaier, and he was on the high side like he typically likes, passing a lot of trucks and a lot of great trucks too. Brendan Gaughan had such a good run last week. We mentioned Marcus Ambrose finishing 3rd. Well, he about 0.003 of a second behind was Brendan Gaughan in 4th with a terrific run for his best finish of the year.